Good evening, this is the Oscar expert here with Brother Bro at the Sundance Film Festival, and it's time for a review of Duel. This is the latest film from Riley Stearns, who I became a fan of after his film The Art of Self-Defense, and this movie definitely operates in like the same vein as his past two films. He creates this very like surreal world with this very odd, dry sense of humor, where all the characters are like slightly more robotic than people are in real life, and they deliver everything just very dryly and say things weirdly matter-of-factly. Similar to some of Yorgos Lanthimos' films, you might consider him Yorgos Lanthimos light. It doesn't feel like he's trying to copy that. It feels like Riley Stearns might have come up with that style anyway if Yorgos Lanthimos didn't exist, because it just feels like he understands that in his own way, and it's like his thing. I don't think it's a cheap imitation. Duel takes place in a world where you can clone yourself, normally with the intention of the original person killing themselves, but if somehow that doesn't go through, the clones are forced to duel to the death in like a public spectacle televised event. If that premise doesn't really make sense, like why can't they just coexist? Well, don't ask the question, just go see the film. There are a lot of questions in this movie that you just shouldn't ask. Like, why don't they elicit normal human emotions? Like, in this world, if your kid clones themselves and then dies, you're just like, okay, it's like a nice thing to do for your family, because they won't care. And then in this world of people who are unable to express real emotion, and where underlying premises of society are not questioned, we come to get deeper into this portrait of absurdism that Riley Stearns is painting. And this film, by the end of it, really left me with a deep impression of what kind of world that was, and weirdly enough, related to our own. But I think the best way to watch the film is not to look at the big picture. It's just to enjoy the dark, dry comedy that's right in front of your face. And I had a lot of fun indulging in this premise. It's a really funny movie. I laughed a lot at the dialogue. Like, the humor is just very up my alley. I love the wordplay. Karen Gillan is a perfect match for Riley Stearns' style, it seems. She definitely understands the assignment. She does a fantastic job with that deadpan delivery, while occasionally holding back something greater. I really found it fun to explore and laugh at the hollow and boring existence of all these characters. And if you can't be sold on an idea that the film is really about that, both on the surface and in like a deeper way, I don't know if you would like this. There have been a couple of criticisms where people are like, you know, I couldn't emotionally connect to the characters, and it's like, correct. It's like saying that the water park is too wet. And yeah, it might be unconventional to have a movie that expects you to not connect with the characters, but that's just kind of what makes this movie a unique experience. But I actually disagree that you don't connect with the characters at all. Like, you don't really understand them. But the point is that they operate robotically with the same sort of like overall intentions as we do. And in this film, it's pared down to the instinct to just survive at all costs. And this film is a character fighting for survival. In a normal film, a character would be fighting survival because they have like a pregnant wife at home. In this film, it's like, well, what does she even have? Like, that's the question. It really gets to the heart of emptiness and nothingness, and as you can probably tell, I was actually thinking about the film after it ended, especially the last shot, contemplating that, and then seeing sort of the bigger picture and what kind of world this is painting made me really appreciate Riley Stearns' work in a deeper level. There were times where this movie was deliberately like not really going straight for the comedy, and it left me wondering, you know, if there isn't really anything to relate to the characters about in this story, and we're not going for the comedy, then like, what are we getting? And there were times in this movie where I kind of questioned that, like, what was the purpose? But kind of sitting with the movie after it ended, I started to realize the sort of purpose of the movie. Aaron Paul also comes into this film about halfway through, and he's in it a good amount, but it wasn't as fun of a performance as I thought it might be. Like, I remember the guy in Art of Self-Defense, the sensei in that film, was so deliciously like fun and just a character. And I didn't feel like we got that from Aaron Paul. I don't know if it was the acting or just the character. He does basically the same thing that you'd expect him to do given what everybody else is doing in the movie. Which is also to say that like he has his funny moments. There were a lot of enjoyable moments with that character, but yeah, I guess it didn't like go to the next level. Overall, this film really worked for me. I would give it an 8 out of 10. It's one of the better ones I've seen at the festival. I would also give this an 8 out of 10. And I want to see everything that Riley Stearns makes from here on out, like forever. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you made a clone, would you win the duel?